All right. Thanks for joining back for part two. Thank you for being with us still. I appreciate it. Uh,
Yeah, no problem.
you know, I've I'm still, I think this is episode 7. I'm
Hmm.
still like getting the hang of the whole podcast thing. And there's a lot of things, right? So I want to build a podcast that, you know, the last thing I'm worried about is getting likes,
Yeah.
follows, or that kind of thing. That's the last thing. My actual goal is to have is to foster community.
Hmm.
Right? Like me and you, we know a lot of similar people. I don't think we've really met.
Mm-mm. I don't think so.
Yeah. So, but we know a lot of the same people.
Yeah.
We definitely do. And, even before this, we probably would have ran it. If there was no COVID, we probably would have ran into each other at some races last year.
Yeah.
So one of the main things that drew me to you initially was a lot of the body positivity stuff.
Hmm.
Now, I post body positivity things, and I think I have a strong sensitive side. Like, let me just throw that out there. The average guy is not posting about body positivity and all of that. And I think it's an issue for women, but I think it's also an issue for men.
Hmm.
You know, like I said, I study psychology. So in psychology, you get to understand how pervasive this thing is. And like every magazine, when I say every, I mean every magazine, every movie, like we're brainwashed.
Yeah.
And now the scary thing is, it's like social media is like
Hmm.
taking it to a new level. And
Yeah.
people are killing themselves, and bleaching their skin and taking crazy pills to lose weight and not eating. Like we're heading to a place where people are like doing everything except eating healthy, drinking water, and going to bed and exercise.
Yeah. Yeah. Meditating. Uh-huh.
It's crazy, and you're just here like, and I really, if I can, so I've always been talk about body positivity, and I think that has a stronger voice now.
Hmm.
I think people are taking it on, and some people still struggle with, it's not fat positive or eating whatever you want positive, but it's about embracing the body you're in
Yes.
and
Definitely.
loving where you're at, because
Hmm.
you can't get to a better place if you don't love where you're at. You
Yeah.
have to have a certain amount of acknowledgement of whatever it is you're going through and where you've been, and then pick yourself up from there. And if your self-esteem is destroyed, then you're not going to have the motivation, the strength to do anything to address that. So
Hmm.
I think you started liking some of my stuff. I started liking some of your stuff. And like, we just started going back and forth. It was primarily body positivity.
Yeah.
Um, you've talking a lot about how, like I said, there's a benefit to hitting bottom.
Hmm.
If you were a junkie and you never hit bottom, you just stay there taking drugs and just like
Yeah.
never like, oh, this is great. When you hit bottom and everything falls apart, then you can wake up and you're like, oh, wait a minute. And then you start to rebuild,
Yeah.
and I think um, the running community in New York specifically has a nice diversity.
Yes, they do.
And
And no, go ahead.
I think that has been one of the things that has helped me, and that I've appreciated about specifically New York. It's not
Hmm.
just elite athletes with six packs who used to be track athletes in college, and now they're running in New York Roadrunners kind of.
Hmm. Yeah. And one of the things that I have to say in running, that you see people of all sizes, right? And ages running, you know, it ranges from 18 to like 90,
That's right.
and
I have 12-year-olds
every,
who beat me.
Yeah, yeah. And each and every person running has a different body shape.
Right.
You understand what I mean? No one looks alike. Um, and that is, well, body positivity again was something that's not wasn't spoken of growing up. I honestly truly believe, Alexis, that body positive is something that needs to be talked about, because there's a lot of men out there that, believe it or not, right, they do yeah, their self-esteem issues. You understand? We all go through it, right? We look at our body and we're like, what is going on? Like, when did this happen? Why did I let myself go? As a mother and someone who's spoken to many mothers, um they all say the same, like, where did I let this body go? How did this happen? And that's kind of one of the reasons why I started CEO of My Curves. Even though I branched out from CEO of My Curves, it's something that I still talk about. Body positive, I started it when I was like when I was pregnant, because honestly, I'm gonna be, I'm being really transparent and either way, but like and everything that I do, but it's just that I was scared to gain weight again during my pregnancy. You know what I mean? I had lost over 50 pounds, and then I found out I was pregnant after my first marathon, and I was scared to gain weight again. And I wasn't scared of like the belly or the stretch marks or nothing like that. I was just scared of how I was going to look at myself again. I didn't want to go back to the Christine in the fitting room. You understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I had a lot of fear of pregnancy again due to weight gain, because I knew I was going to gain the weight again. You had carrying a baby. You understand? So being active though helped me a lot with my mental state, but I had to learn how to change my mindset, because you can be active and you can be healthy, but it's all up in the mind. Like, if you're not talking to yourself positive, if you're not talking to yourself differently, you're going to stay in the negative. So I had to tell myself words that I never told myself before, like, I love you, I love the way you look. I had to put post-it notes around my house in my mirror just to read when I looked at myself in the mirror, because I knew the mirror was a trigger. You know what I mean?
Right.
And this is like an advice to anyone that's listening. Like, if you know that you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're saying to yourself, my goodness, I am ugly, shift those words to I am beautiful. Shift those words to, I love my body because, she is strong. He is strong. He just ran. Like, it's all about shifting the words. That's really important. I would put post-it notes in my walls, in my mirror. I would write down affirmations, different affirmations, just to shift the mindset during my pregnancy. And that is because I knew that I did not want to go back into that depression state. And if I fall back to that, that was going to be harder for me. And, so like body positive, it's something I mean, it's what I love, because that's how I kind of started speaking, right, with fitness. And I really feel that people also need to look at fitness differently. So many people look at it as a quick thing. Like, it's not. Like, I wish it was, because then I'll have six pack and but I'm honest with people, like, I run to eat pizza, you guys. I can't, like, I love it too much. But it's like we need to learn how to treat ourselves better and really love ourselves, and love ourselves now, right? Love ourselves right now, how you look. If you have a stretch mark, if you have a fupa, if you have extra skin, if you're 10, 15 pounds, 20 pounds overweight than what you originally want, like, instead of being so upset, like, start loving yourself now, so that when you are working towards your goal, you continuously loving yourself. And that is something that I had to learn. I had to learn how to love my body right now as it is, if I wanted to reach a goal. And I say that because at one point I did reach a goal. Before my pregnancy, I had lost over 50 pounds. And even when I lost 50 pounds, I still wasn't happy, because I still saw something.
Right.
And during my pregnancy is when I decided to make a big shift in my mind and really start treating myself differently by talking to myself differently. So that's really important because you can lose the weight, but it doesn't matter if your mind is feeding you something else. So it's why it's really important that as much as you're working towards your goal, you're also telling yourself the amazing, beautiful things that you want yourself to hear. I think that's so important on top of the, your goal in your fitness journey.
Yep, yep. You know, yeah, yeah. All of those things, all of those things. You know, I think, I feel, I want to say, like, I ran my first marathon in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I didn't train well. 2014, I trained a lot better, and for me, it's always been like ups and downs, ups and downs. And living in New York, you got winters, those kinds of things. Winters, I think, affects a lot of us.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know why I'm still in the Northeast, but
Neither am I. And
yeah,
I'm training in the cold, so I don't even get it sometimes.
it's no, seriously, like in the summertime, I can't. Sometimes like how you might accidentally wake up extra early,
Yeah.
like not planning, and I'll just go outside and do some quick miles. I'm
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that, when it's 20 degrees outside, it's
Yeah.
dark and all that. But in the summer, I will do it, like just some quick miles. My regimen is very different when the weather is good.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I completely get it. I mean, I've been running in the cold, and sometimes I tell my husband, like, I don't understand why I do it to myself, but I know it's gonna hurt.
Yeah, the hardest part is getting out the door.
Yeah, that sure is. But I think it also, like, again, going back into the running and positive, body positive, like when you see yourself doing these things, right, whatever fitness journey, right, that you're on, whether it's running, biking, whatever, like it makes you feel good, right? And I think that that is something, it's so much more than your weight, right? It's so much more than how you think that what you're not, right? Like feeling good is just so important. Honestly, you have to make it a priority to yourself every single day to feel good. And why is one of the reasons why I feel like we can do the workout, but we also got to work on the mind, because when you work on the mind, it makes your entire body feel good. You're getting out there, you're doing it, and you're like, okay, cool, like I can do this, I can achieve anything. um and it just shows you that you can at any size. I was running at 200 and something pounds, and I ran at 100 and something pounds, 150, 40, whatever. And each weight is funny because it's different. I am nowhere near 220 pounds and nowhere near 150 pounds, but yeah, I feel the strongest now, you know and um and I don't care what people think of me, right? I think that's another thing too. Social media puts this thing where we have to care what other people think. In running, I do not care. In the summertime, I run with my sports bra and shirt, and my stretch marks, my stomach rolls are all out.
It is.
And I've gotten to the point that I just don't care what people think, and it's because it's my body and I feel good, you know and I really think that we need to embrace and love our bodies so much more. Like, focus on a goal, but don't make that so much your focus that you're not also focusing on loving yourself as who you are. So yeah.
It's a big plate. It's a big.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I noted. I was, I listened to some of your podcasts, and well, before I even get into that, I'll come back to that.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
wanted to say that I think we have the power to make this world a better place.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
And a lot of us, like we said before, are too busy in robot mode, keeping their head
Mhm.
down, just going through it. We all know what the problems are. And not enough of us are picking up the baton to do something. And what scares me is when you see someone else doing something, you kind of give them the look like, oh, that's nice. But you're not quick to support that. You're not quick
Yeah,
to like jump on that bandwagon. You wouldn't do it yourself. You appreciate it. You know it's an issue, but you're not joining up to stuff. And it's partially because you're busy and all of these things. Um, and I have to say that even just having conversations like this really creates an atmosphere for people to be different.
mm-hmm.
And a part of what I'm thinking about with the podcast is hopefully people will watch it and say, I want to be a part of body positive. I want to be a part of healing. I want to be a
Mm-hmm.
part of moving my life forward. And I want to connect with other people. I think a part of why I want to do this more is to create a space so that we can have more community.
Definitely.
I find that people are slow to participate in community like wholeheartedly. You know, you have to convince them, you got to make it look a certain way, you got to, be cool. And like, it's really an uphill battle when I don't think it should be, right? It should just be,
Mm-hmm.
really should just be like, hey, why not meet people? And
Yeah.
why I've always gravitated to running groups and those kinds of
Mm-hmm.
things. So
Yeah.
even as of lately, I think running groups have gotten more and more like at one point running groups was different than the regular world. People in
Mm-hmm.
the regular world would be hard to have community with them.
Yeah.
Running group was like, oh, you run? Oh, we best friends now.
Yeah.
And I find like more and more the regular world is catching up to running groups. And now running groups are starting to feel like the regular world. And I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying this blanketly or across the
Yeah.
board, but I think more and more, like I did a lot of social stuff in 2014,
Mm-hmm.
and like I met like 100 people from Instagram, and we like hung out like legit. And now in 2020, yeah, I see you, and oh yeah, I like that. I like your pace on that, but it's not like, yo, I'll see you next week at that.
Mm-hmm.
The vibe is more. It's more turning into that kind of thing. So for me, I'm thinking the podcast can do more in-person things. Obviously, when this pandemic winds down.
Yeah.
Um, so I was mentioning before when I was listening to your podcast, you were talking about, when all of the George Floyd and a lot of these things were happening, how it really affected you, and how has this pandemic been for you and all of this stuff, and how's that been?
Um, so as a mom, I have to say that it's been hard in the sense of trying to make sure that my sanity is good, but also my kids,
Right.
and I'm sure so many parents feel the same. Um, the good part about it, I do have to say the pandemic definitely showed my family and I how important family is, right? That we decided to move back to New York and we decided to move back to the Bronx, right? Because we were living in Pennsylvania for 3 years and we just decided mid-pandemic, we're just going to move back.
Holy smoke. What month?
Yeah. We moved around August, July, the end of July.
Wow.
So yeah. And it happened because, at the time I had lost my job, even though my job was guaranteed, I had lost my job. But then my husband was traveling a lot from back and forth from New York to Pennsylvania. And my kids missed him for 3 years. That was something that we were doing.
Yeah.
And when the pandemic happened, he happened to like just get laid off right before the pandemic. He's in construction, so that's kind of the norm sometimes. And when the pandemic happened and everyone was home, like we realized how much like we missed my husband, you know, and we're really a close-knit family. So it's like, okay. And then my daughters were saying how much they miss my mom and my dad and my sister, and that played a big role on it.
Right.
And then I was like, okay, I think we're just gonna move back home. You know, it was something that we were talking about, but it didn't take action till like July. And so yeah, the pandemic definitely taught me the importance of family. It also taught me the importance of stop speeding up and trying to like catch up, you know, of what people tell you that you need to be and where you need to be.
Right.
As someone in business, and even you as you're building your personal brand, it's so quick to look at other people and go, oh my God, they're like, you know, they're doing so much more than me, right? But we need to understand that this is our journey. We kind of have to look at it like the journey in running the marathon, right? It's our journey, it's our training, right? All the time.
Your race, your
So
pace.
yeah, your race, your pace is the same thing with podcasting, the same thing with building a brand and business. You know, so it's like, it definitely taught me about family. And also when the entire, I'm gonna be honest, Alexi, when the whole thing with George Floyd, I don't want to say his name wrong, Ahmed. I don't remember the kid the runner, who got shot. Um, him, and there was another one. When that all of that was going on, well, the George Floyd, yes, it was big for me, but I think what affected me more was the runner, more than anything. You understand? And it affected me more because I have friends like you, right? I have moms who have kids who are Black,
Right.
and I think about them. You
Yeah.
understand what I mean? And I think even for myself and my son who looks like me, I think about, damn, can I not run the street? You understand? Like, and while I know it was a Black kid who, you know what I mean, who got shot, but it's like, it also makes me look at myself, but it also makes me look at my friends, you know, and their children. So I had a lot of like appreciate life moments during this pandemic. And also like be that voice that other people will not be. You understand, more than ever during this time. Um, the I don't remember. I think his name is Ahmed, right? I don't want to say his name wrong. The runner, that affected me a lot more. I'm gonna be honest when that happened, because again, I'm part of the running community, and you think about all these people who are runners who look like him. You
Right.
understand? And you think about, my God, like, is this someone that's gonna know that's gonna be next? You understand? So I think that was one of the moments in my in this past year that I was like, damn, like we have to speak up one way or another about our feelings and what we're going, you know, what's going on, and you know, and appreciate life. You know, that also made me realize like, damn, we're not like I'm not appreciating also some things about, you know, maybe that I didn't realize before, you know, my life, you know. And in my life, what I mean is like being present and being in the moment,
Right.
you know, because again, tomorrow's not guaranteed, right? That's where I'm going with that. But yeah, but you know, this pandemic has definitely taught me to slow down, to take it easy, to appreciate moments with family, with loved ones. And it's okay if you're not doing what everyone else is doing. You know, it's my pace, my race, my pace. That's what it definitely taught me.
Yep. Yep. So I'm one of the things that I'm gonna do next is I'm
Yeah.
gonna be doing like more panel kind of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to kind of build a base one-on-one with people and then do panels and things like that. And one of the things with my podcast, I don't know if you know, like a lot of people know me from running.
Yeah.
And I'm cool with it. You know, it's nice. And one of the reasons why that happened is because I've always been like a big community pusher kind of person.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's meet up, let's do something, let's do this, let's do that. And like I said, people want I think a lot of people do want that. And,
Yeah.
there's always, I don't know, when you deal with people, there's always issues. One person wants this, one person wants that, and it's like not easy. But I think the panels is a way for us to kind of get our voices heard and really
Mm-hmm.
talk about things that's real.
Yeah.
And how can we move forward in a more cohesive way and actually make the future that we want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people are gonna want community, especially right after this
Oh,
I
it's
mean, not
crazy. It's gonna be crazy.
yeah, yeah, people are gonna want community. So I would definitely say whatever you vision, definitely do it. Shut the noise, right? We
Mhm.
definitely got to shut the noise of what other people think of what we should do. Because it's so easy to try to listen to everyone, right? I'll be honest. I've also done events, so I completely get where you're coming from. So it's like you have to shut the noise and just do what's in your mind, right? Because at the end of the day, like, see, once these things get better, people are gonna want to and feel a sense of community, and it's important for, if it's on your mind, for you to do it, because again, they want to see people just like us achieving and want to feel like they are part of something. So I think that's important.
Yeah, no, when COVID's over, it's gonna be a zoo. It
Yeah.
In a good way. It's gonna be
Yeah.
everybody's gonna want to be everywhere. It's gonna be a zoo. I'm excited for this thing to wind down. They just canceled the Brooklyn Half for this year.
Yeah, I heard.
So 2 years in a row. Now that you're back in the Bronx, I'm expecting you to be at everything now.
I'll try.
Yeah, the
I'll
Bronx,
definitely
the
try.
Bronx 10
Yeah.
miler is a big favorite of mine.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite. That's the one I always do. Like, it's one that I'm always in. The Bronx 10 miler. The other one, and I've done like one I've committed to also in the city. It's the LBG, what is it? LB?
Pride Run.
Yeah, yes, the Pride one, that one.
Yeah,
I love the Pride one.
that's my birthday weekend. So
Oh, is it?
yeah, I get into that one too. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think next year, like these races are gonna sell out like in the
In
first hour.
in seconds, I
It's gonna
know.
be a wrap. Like
I know.
even the crappy races that weren't selling out, it's
They're
gonna
gonna sell out.
group runs are gonna be like people will be like, listen, I'm not even going to work today. I'm just
Yeah,
next
serious.
year is gonna be crazy. I mean, I'm excited about next year. So like, yeah. Um,
Yeah.
little by little, one of the things that I'm really passionate about is, a lot of people, it's it's complicated, but it's really simple. A lot
Yeah.
of us, home ownership for a lot of people is really not a reality.
Mm-hmm.
You know, low income people, home ownership, it's like they rent and you're lucky if you can inherit your grandmother's apartment.
Yeah.
That's like as close as when you live in the city, that's as close as you get to home ownership.
Yeah.
And I'm about making financial moves.
Good.
You can't inherit. You have to strategize a way forward
Yeah.
for the next generation, if not for
Definitely.
you know.
Definitely. I'm big on the sense of having different sources of income.
Right.
You need to have different sources of income. And the reason for it is because if you look at any millionaire out there, they have more than 7 incomes, right? And you're like, and there's many different ways to make money legally, you know what I mean? So, and you know, and like there's different ways, like writing ebooks, having workshops, if you know that you have a specific craft that you could definitely do, like a book or a workbook. Like there's so many ways to make income online specifically,
Yeah.
that's we don't talk about much that we should be. There's also network marketing, there's affiliated marketing. And I feel like people in our community need to know more about this. They hear network marketing, they hear affiliated marketing, and they're like, oh no, I can't do that. But it's like, again, you're saying no to something that you don't know nothing about, right? It's like, don't say no without asking questions. And there are amazing companies out there that have an amazing compensation plan. And, we need to learn how to obviously have income, have home ownership, but more is how to create different sources of income, because nowadays you cannot just live on your 9 to 5 job. There's people having a 9 to 5 and 2 more jobs after that. And it's sad to say, it's really sad to say this, but that's how people are in burnout. That's how people are feeling like, they can achieve anything else. And it's because like they cannot get through because they're living literally paycheck to paycheck. Like no one should be having more than 3 jobs back to back to back. Like you're getting off of one job to go to another, to go to another. Like you could create a business, and I think it's just really important to talk about the fully potential of having different sources of income as well, because again, we cannot just live on one income nowadays. It has to be multiple.
Exactly. I do think that's definitely the stepping stone. And
Yeah.
you know, like me and you were like,
Yeah.
but it's a serious problem. And I just want to build up the community in the way
Yeah.
that really like makes sense to me,
Of
because
course.
the thing is, I'm not the first person to say it, but the money is not staying in the community,
Yeah.
and
It
the
isn't.
money is leaving the community too fast, and we have to do things to kind of keep the money in the community and figure out a financial plan that can have, because people of color, we have the money, it's just leaving
Yeah.
in so fast, and we're everyone else is profiting off us, and we're not reaping the benefits as much as they.
Yeah. Yeah. And I listen, and listen, I get it when people leave communities like this and trying to go somewhere else. I get it. You know what I mean? I understand it. I lived it, But I mean, I made the decision to come back, obviously, because of family, and it was just better for my family. But I say this all the time, like we can survive anywhere. Right? I think New York, with New York blood, like you really realize you can survive anywhere. But yeah, you have to support within your community. And even if that means like supporting the bodega, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just so that they could keep
makes sense.
rolling, you know.
Foods is,
Um,
Whole Foods is coming to the hood now.
yeah, so you know what I mean? So it's like it's crazy. And it's like supporting one another, like again going back into your conversation on support, it's like supporting stuff like this, supporting people who are in business, right? Small businesses, online businesses. It's like supporting people like us, because the more that we support one another, we're able to also support the community. And really stop. I think that a big thing that bothers me, Alexi, is really like the bad talk that people have about certain communities. Like we have to stop that. You know, it's annoying when people say, "Oh, the Bronx is this and the Bronx is nothing. The Bronx is people in there." You know what I mean? We're all humans trying to give it our best every single day.
Right.
You know, we're no different than the people from Yonkers. We're no different than the people from Bronxville. Honestly, we're all people. The same way that you can go support a Starbucks in Bronxville, come and support it on this side of the block, you know. But in order to say that, it's like we have to bad talk our communities, because when
Right.
the more that we bad talk about our communities, the more that people think that it's really that bad. And in reality, like there's so many wonderful communities around here. There's so many diversity of people. You know, and we need to uplift our community by saying, that that there is good, and that way we can support our communities here and support people who have businesses in this community. So yeah.
Yeah, business empowerment, shopping local, supporting small businesses. Yeah, I definitely think it's the future, and it's
Yeah.
I think a lot of the things that you see on the news with police brutality, wouldn't be happening if we owned our communities.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if we're paying the taxes, but we're still underrepresented.
Yeah.
Yeah, and have you been to Honduras?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's been over 20 years. But yes, I was there when I was a young girl with my grandmother. That was kind of the last time that I went.
Do you have family there? What's the
Yeah, we still, my mom still, like, we still have cousins and stuff that live there. You know, and it's always great because my mom, you know, she always goes back. I was The plan was to go last year, but we didn't. So obviously due to COVID. But yeah, the plan is to go, and I do plan to go back. I guess to connect more to my roots
yeah.
and connect more to, you know, my grandma, you know. I know it may sound woo-woo, but like, you know, I feel like our ancestors um definitely played a big role for us. And, you know, if we want to continue their guidance, like I definitely, you know, my thing is like be connected to them because it's because of them, you know, I'm here.
What was your
And
grandmother's name?
what happened?
What was your grandmother's name?
Her name is Maria.
Maria. Was
Yeah.
she with your grandfather? Were they together?
No. They weren't. No. I mean, I had my own separate relationship with my grandfather, but not, it wasn't close,
Mhm.
but I was more connected with my grandmother. So, you know, she definitely paved the road, I have to say,
You know
for
what?
us.
Well, I'll probably like try to wrap us up with this, but I think
Yeah,
like I one of the things I'm looking forward to in life is being a grandparent.
yeah.
And when I talk about taking care of my health and all of these things, like I'm picturing myself being that old grandpa who's picking you up from school, you come into my house, us doing all these things, and that's all I think about. So I'm really pacing myself for that part of my life, you know.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? My husband and I were talking, we were talking about that not too long ago. You know, um, I told my husband, like, listen, I could wait, obviously, because I have young kids. I was like, but I said to him, I was like, I honestly cannot wait for that moment where I am a grandma, right? And I get to show my grandkids, like running and spending time with them, you know, reading to them, enjoying that time, like kind of doing like what my mom does with my kids. You know, my mom is really involved, and it's fun to see that, right? And then you realize, you know, the beauty of life, right? How everything is like a circle.
Yeah,
Um,
no time.
and you know, me and my husband were talking about that, and it's funny because I said the same thing. I was like, you know, I want to be so healthy that they even run marathons with me, right? You know, I was like, I want to be 99 and you know, and still running, but you know, that way they can see, right, and they can either continue, you know, being this amazing powerful person because of what they saw, you know. And I basically want to be that role model for them, you know.
That's my
So yes, I completely get where you're coming from because I was just having that conversation.
that's my fitness goal.
Yeah,
Fitness goal is to, you know, be 70 and still be out there. And you know, you see those people where they show two pictures of two 70-year-olds, and one's in a wheelchair and one's like
yeah,
pressing and doing cartwheels. Well,
yeah, you
it's
know. And
possible.
it's like, I think what it inspires me more honestly is to see all the people in the races from different ages, you know. um like there's this runner that always catches up to me. He's Japanese.
Oh
He
yeah,
always,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, and
Mr.
he,
Lou. Mr.
yeah,
Mr. Lou.
yeah, okay. I never got his name, but he always catches up to
And
me.
he
Well,
has the
actually,
bag.
yeah, yeah. And he actually passes me so many times. And I'm like, dude, I'm younger than you. Why are you running faster than me? And he goes up these hills like nothing. And I'm like, man, like I want to be that. I want to be old. You know, I mean, I could wait. Obviously, I could wait. But I was like, I want to get there, and I want to run these hills like nothing,
Yeah.
because he runs them like nothing. And I was like, hey, can I beat you, please? Because I need your legs right
He's a
now.
legend. No, he's a legend. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing. There's so many people I know. I have friends who are like, I'm like, hey, you want to run? They're like, oh no, I'm 50. I'm like, they don't know. You can't explain it to them.
Yeah, no, I actually because I recently, well, 2 years ago, my friend ran her first marathon. I think it was like 50 at 50. And it was a goal of hers. And I was like, nope, you're gonna do it. I was like, you said you was gonna do it at 50. And sure enough, she did it at 50. I was so proud of her. And it's because again, she didn't realize she can't because she was never a runner. And I said, I would tell her, just do 1 block, 2 blocks, 1 block, 2 block, one walk, 1 run 2, and little by little, she achieved her goal of running the marathon, not the time that she wanted, but I was like, it doesn't matter. You finished it. You got your medal. And that's what matters.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Chris, I'm really happy you came on with me. This is exactly what I felt, I have to say, I love your podcast. I love your guests. Like the guests you pick, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I'm listening to Oprah. Like,
thank you.
Yeah, a Latino Oprah. And I'm just there, like, I'm listening to it and I'm picturing the video. Like, have you thought about doing video?
I have. So funny because I'm actually gonna be rebranding my YouTube. So I'll probably do it like I'm not recording until June probably again.
Okay.
But I have thought about like putting up the videos just to have it there for the community. But I need to do that.
No, I really have a strong energy. Like I wouldn't be surprised if you went viral,
Yeah. Oh, thank you. So if one person listens, that makes me happy.
That's it. No.
Yeah.
And like I feel empowered. Like everything you say, that's already what I'm thinking. But to hear it back from another person with the energy is just like, Thank you. Thank you. You were asking me if I'm actively running. Are you actively running?
I am actively running, still running. I'm running about 50 to 20 miles a week right now.
Okay.
And that's because I hired a coach and I have a goal in mind of what I want to run the New York City Marathon whenever we go back. Yeah. So I'm working towards that goal. Yeah. So I'm actively
with a coach now.
Huh?
You're working with a coach now?
Yeah, I've been working with her for over a year now. So it's been pretty good.
It's a big deal. I was impressed with your Berlin time.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a big one. That was
your PR?
Yeah, I did PR Berlin. And I recently PR'd like on my own a 10K. Okay. So little by little going back to the time that I was 5 years ago. It's taken 5 years, but it's getting there. Yeah. And little by little just trying to get faster. So
that's it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to see what you do next. What was I think it was 5:30?
Yeah, it was around 5. I think it was 5:33 Berlin. Yeah, was it? Yeah, I should have. Not. I have it here. Yeah, it's 5:33. I think Berlin.
And that's your marathon PR.
That was my marathon PR, correct? Yeah. So yeah, and then I'm trying to shave off another 45 to 50 minutes from there.
You could do it.
Yeah.
My PR still up to now is 5:50.
Okay.
And I know I can get it under 5.
Yeah.
I keep getting, sidetracked by life.
Of course.
But my body can definitely do it.
Definitely. You could definitely do it. You know what I mean? It took a while just to even go under, I think 6. So I get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that pandemic has been good. Less distractions.
Exactly. And you just go.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll be back to, I have given up all hope for this year. Yeah,
I know. I still try to keep my hope up. I'll be honest. At least for New York City.
My thing is, how are you going to have 50,000 people in November?
I know. That's the other thing. I know.
There's no, you know what they may do? They may, like some of these marathons, what they do is they just have it for the elites.
Yeah. I hope at least they give some people the opportunity.
But
You
then
know what I mean?
are they going to shut down the 5 boroughs for not the full capacity?
I know.
So they may, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm not
I know.
anticipating it being a regular marathon.
I know. I know. And I'm like, if it doesn't happen this year, I'm gonna still keep training either way.
Okay.
For like next year, the following. I'll be honest, like running has helped me stay sane during this pandemic. You know, it definitely has. I guess it's just because we're just in movement, but I don't even know what to think of it. I'm still like, I hope. I just want to run, you know, just to get my medal.
Don't get me wrong, I want to do it, but
Yeah,
I just don't see it.
I
I
know.
see
I
it, you
know.
know?
I,
Like Roadrunners has put on like these little races, and it's like 100 people, you know?
I know. It's
So,
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm confident about next year.
Definitely.
That's
That I definitely feel confident of as well. Yeah.
yeah. But until
Yeah.
then, fingers crossed. There's
Yeah.
races, you could probably find something like out of town.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a lot of out of town stuff happening. I do plan to like do like maybe a half out of town, but no marathon until New York opens. Cause that's like one of my goals. For whatever reason, I'm just like, if I don't
All right. She just got cut off. I think her phone died. I don't know what happened. Happy for having her on. Um, Hopefully I didn't keep her too long, but as you can see, she's really awesome. And thank you guys for sticking around this long. I tried to break it into 2 parts so you can see part 1 on Instagram and part 2. And I'm still figuring out how I'm going to do it long run. But thank you, Chrissy. She's amazing.